Hello, hello. May peace and blessings be with you. I am super excited that I have a fabulous, fabulous accountant with me today. Her name is Karen Spencer. I know that, sometimes you think that accounting conversations can't be that exciting, but try us. It's going to be a pretty fun conversation because we're here for all the giggles and all the laughs. Um, so, with that, Karen, I would like you to tell us a little bit about yourself. And I also actually want to know, how did you get into the accounting field?
That is an interesting question. Actually, the first time I went to college, I studied Russian language and literature with a minor in Eastern European history. And unfortunately, I did not manage to graduate. And so I did a whole bunch of different jobs in many different fields. And at one point, um, I decided to go back to college and try again. And this time I was like, I'm going to do a practical degree. And so I did accounting. And I found I really liked it. So I have been working as an accountant for over 15 years now, working with businesses in practically every industry, working with businesses sizes from, $1,000 a year to like $25 million a year. It's been actually, people think accounting is boring. It's actually been pretty interesting. So, try me.
That's so cool. So, Karen, I don't know if you know that I also went the accounting route, but for me, I started with computer information systems and I added accounting as well
Mhm.
later on. And for me, it was also the accounting professor that I had in college. She was so fabulous, and I ended up liking it a lot. So that's how I ended up, graduating with 2 degrees and doing that for a few years. I worked at a CPA firm at the beginning of my career, but I feel like I'm so far gone at this point that no longer in public practice, but I think that's a good thing. I stick to tech. I think I enjoy that very much. I mean, I feel like um, if you don't keep up with it, right, you kind of lose that knowledge and you kind of lose
Yeah.
that way of thinking. But I think it was a really nice thing to start my career with that, because it did teach me about, the business concept and the bottom line and all of that, right? So all of that was like really, really good. But I think yeah, I am sticking with tech for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, whereas, I like numbers, but even more, I like the stories behind the numbers,
Mhm,
like what the numbers tell you, what people tell you about their businesses and how they're working right now and how they want them to work, what their goals are. I find it all fascinating. I say I'm a nosy Parker, because I like to like stick my nose in everybody's business and figure out, what they're doing and how I can help them make it better.
mhm. So, Karen, describe for me who could be like an ideal client for you. Who have you worked with, and you've said, "Oh my gosh, like I want more people like that. I want to have more of that in my life and in my community."
I mean, I like to work a lot with small businesses, mainly product-based businesses, a lot of makers and artists, especially. I Oh dear. My cat is coming over to join us. I like working with businesses that are just beginning, as well as businesses that have been established for a while. So I I do really like working with artists because I am a crafter myself. I'm a sewer, among other crafts, but like sewing, I actually have a business doing that. And I understand the conflict that there can be between the creative and the business, and how to make, those 2 balance better.
Wow. I didn't know that. I didn't know
Yeah.
you're a crafter. That's so awesome. I think I just find that so fascinating because we're using both, right brain, left brain activities. And I actually find people who are really creative are also um, really good problem solvers,
Mhm.
with their left brain activities and things like that. So it's very cool, very cool. Okay. So, Karen, let's talk about accounting. What are some of the things that you find that people struggle with at the beginning of their journey when
At
they
the
are first starting out? What are some things that
Well, I think a lot of people skip a lot of the steps that they really should do when they're beginning, like getting a tax ID, like, getting, registered with their state, with their county, with their city if necessary. Um, I think, also record keeping usually tends to go right by the wayside, and they don't keep very good records if they keep records at all. And so they lose out on, a lot of deductions when it comes to tax time. They don't have the information that they need to know, am I profitable? What do I need to do to become profitable if I'm not? It's there's a lot of enthusiasm, but not always the structure and organization that needs to be there.
Mhm. And is that something that you help out with? Is that something people could reach out to you for?
Yes, I work on, organizing, not only, documents, but, workflows. I work on budgeting, forecasting. I do a lot of, pre-planning, for, how what you're going to be doing next, pricing, products, which can be, you know, surprisingly difficult.
Yeah.
So, I work a lot with I really do like working, more with the beginning entrepreneurs, but I do work with entrepreneurs who are further along, and it's just yeah.
Yeah, I think there are different challenges, right? Like when you're at the beginning, you're not even thinking about all of those things that you just described, right? You truly are not, right? You're just like,
Right,
I want to, get this thing going. If I can even, have a map, a plan to just launch whatever I'm launching. And then once I start making money, then I will think about that. But you are so spot on that, if you're not organized and all of that, you're going to miss your tax
right.
deductions and things like that. So it definitely helps to have all of that in place. Karen, are there any apps or programs that you use and recommend that you think would be helpful for beginners up to maybe like 5 years into business?
You know, it a lot of new businesses don't need a lot of the functionality of something like QuickBooks.
Hmm.
Like, they can start with just a spreadsheet,
Hmm.
and work up from there to something like Wave, and then from Wave to something like QuickBooks. And then as you get bigger and bigger, there's even bigger systems to go with that. But, I think that most businesses really can start with, a spreadsheet. I have, one that I have called the Finance Wizard, which basically not only does it track all of your income and expenses, but it provides a end of year profit and loss statement that you can take to your tax accountant to get your taxes done. Plus, it has budgeting, is in it. It has cash flow analysis in it, and it has a number of metrics built into it as well. So that's part of my my Revenue Revolution Academy that's going to be starting in January 1st. And that'll be one of the tools that'll be available to people who sign up for that.
Very cool. That is so awesome. I feel like that's going to help so many people because I remember at the very, very beginning of my journey, also, I helped someone put together a expense and revenue tracker to be able to do the P&L statement, the profit and loss statement, and stuff like that. So that is so fantastic that you have made that available and packaged it like that. And I'm sure it's making so many people happy hearing that you don't need to use QuickBooks at the beginning.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
QuickBooks is expensive, you know, and why should you go to that huge expense when you don't at the beginning you don't have as many transactions, you know, as many income or expense transactions going on, you know, and the nice thing about the finance wizard is when you're inputting stuff, it's just a form. You fill out a form, you click on what type of thing it is, you know, is it income, is it advertising, is it whatever, and then you enter the information and hit submit, and it does all the rest of everything for you.
That's awesome.
So, yeah.
That is so cool that you've built that. And I love the name of it. Finance Wizard.
My brother was like, "That's so cheesy," and I was like, "I am cheesy."
Okay, Karen, I feel like whenever I have any guests on my live streams or my programs, we always do a round of rapid fire questions. We're going to do that in a few minutes, if that's okay with you. I should ask
Mhm.
for permission.
Sure.
Even if you said no, I would still put you through this because I am the host today and this is what we get to do. Okay. I also want to just quickly have you describe how did I think because it would be cool for people to know how do we know each other. So if you want to tell us like
Oh, yes.
you found me and
I know Timmy because I use her One Tech Coach, which has been great for my business. You know, I can use it for my funnels. I can use it. I'm about to move all of my website over to it. I can use it for blog. My membership is being built on there. Everything basically is on One Tech Coach, and it's been great. You know, whenever I get stuck, there's someone there to help me. So it's been really, really useful for me.
awesome. Karen, that makes me so happy. I love having you on our Thursday morning calls when we have our office hours for the software in our VIP community. And, you know, the questions that you've asked have been so good and so helpful for other people as well. So I so appreciate that. And I think that with the constant changes that are coming through,
Mm,
enhancements to the platform, I think it's making it even easier and better to run our end-to-end business operation, right? So that just makes me so happy that we're able to.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a pleasure having you as a client and a friend.
Same from my end.
Fantastic. Okay, are you ready for rapid fire, friend?
No, but go ahead.
Okay, easy one first. Hot chocolate or coffee?
Ooh, hot chocolate.
Okay, I kind of knew that. Strike me as the you know, fun loving
Mhm. Oh,
dessert
yeah.
person. Favorite dessert?
Hmm?
What's your favorite dessert?
My favorite dessert? Oh, wow. I'm torn between brownies and carrot cake.
Oh my gosh. I was gonna say you had me at hello. Brownies are my favorite too. Brownie sundaes is like one of my favorite desserts. And I feel like, you know, if I am in a happy mood, I would like to have a brownie sundae. If I'm in a bad mood, I would like to have a brownie sundae and everything in between.
Yep, yep, yep.
That's awesome. Okay. Favorite season of the year.
Fall.
And why is that?
I just love the colors. I think the weather is usually like almost perfect,
Mhm.
especially, where I am just outside of DC. My family is originally from Vermont and all parts of New England really, but mostly Vermont. And it gets so beautiful up there during the fall with the leaves, it's just gorgeous. So I love the fall.
Yeah, I feel like we've had like a mild fall this year, and
Mm.
I absolutely love going out for walks and looking at the trees. The scenery is just so beautiful. It's just we're so blessed. Okay, the funniest childhood memory for you, friend.
Funniest childhood memory. Oh my gosh.
I want to hear a great story.
um, let's see. I probably actually the story was told to me and I thought it was hilarious. My dad and his two brothers used to have BB guns,
Okay.
and my grandfather, being my grandfather, bought my grandmother, for their anniversary, mind you, a brand new stove. And my grandmother, instead of being like, "Oh my god, how unromantic," was like, "This is the best gift ever." Because my grandmother was just so practical. And the boys were fooling around, and none of them to this day, both of my grandparents are dead, and they still won't admit which one of them shot the brand new stove
Oh
with the
no,
BB gun.
that's a painful memory. Come on now.
I mean, there's that one, and I remember in let's see, I think I was in first or second grade. We had a major snowstorm because I grew up in New Jersey, and we had a major snowstorm. And I remember it was so much fun because when my dad dug out the driveway, the pile of snow was so high that we could walk up next to the laundry line that my mom put the laundry on every day, and like, hold on to it and walk on this whole pile of snow. And we were just like playing around and making igloos, and because there was just like so much snow. Like we got like 2 feet, which for New Jersey is amazing. We it doesn't get that much snow usually.
Wow. That's such a cute story with the winter weather upon us and
Yes.
gearing up for that, getting ready for that. It's so funny you told me about the stove and the BB gun. I'm like, it just immediately reminded me of a time when I'm admitting this on on live stream here that I broke a television, almost a brand new television in my household.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, kids do crazy stuff.
Now see, we had we had a television up until I was 9. And then I don't know if you remember, but in 79, the King Tut exhibit came and toured the United States. It was a big deal back then. And we were going to get to go to see it. We actually got tickets to the show at the New York Metropolitan Museum. And we were watching the special on PBS about it, and King Tut's curse got our television and killed it in the middle of the special. And so we had to go to like my cousin's house and watch the rest of it. And then my parents decided that we weren't going to have a television anymore.
Oh man.
So we didn't have a television until I was in college. So
Okay.
from the time I was 9 until I was like 21, we didn't have a television,
Oh my
and we were only allowed to listen to classical music.
god.
And everyone was just like, "Those Spencers are so weird. Those Spencers are so weird." They even did like an article in the newspaper about us because we were just so weird. Like we read books from the library.
It's like now growing up without a cell phone, right? It's like,
You know? Exactly. Yeah.
my goodness, so funny. Okay, next one. A
Mhm.
celebrity you would love to spend a day with.
Oh, wow. A celebrity I would love to spend a day with. Huh.
Don't ask
That's
me
a
how I
tough
came up with
one.
these questions.
I I would probably really love to spend a day with, like, either Taylor Swift or Hillary Rodham Clinton. I think either one of them would be, like, in very different ways, but I think either one of them, it would be fascinating to spend a day with them.
Do you want to elaborate on that?
I
Like,
think because I think they're both, like, total bosses, you know? In different ways, but they're both like total bosses. They both work really hard to help other people. Taylor is incredibly talented. I would love to watch her process of, just, coming up with writing her songs and coming up with the choreography and all of that stuff when she does her shows. And Hillary does so much good work these days. I think that it would be fascinating to watch um her work and see, how she is still affecting the world.
mhm. Yeah. I am so interested in watching celebrities in their like real lives, right? Like interviews with them and stuff like that. I'm like I'm kind of so over the um like the whole glamour and the drama and all of that, I'm less into that, more into their real lives and what are they like in real lives and what drives them, why do they do what they do kind of thing. So yeah, it's very
Yeah.
cool. Okay, so an easy question. What's your favorite food, Karen?
Cheese. Any kind of cheese. My grandfather was a dairy farmer. And so I grew up eating a lot of dairy products and a lot of beef. Um, I'm actually like in the middle of transitioning to becoming a vegetarian.
Wow.
But like that's the one thing that you will not take from me is my dairy. I will still eat my dairy. Don't worry.
Yeah, I think as a vegetarian, a lot of people do continue to eat dairy, right? I think if you
Yeah,
they say like if you're a vegan, then you give up like all animal products, right?
right.
Yeah, so it's smart being a vegetarian.
Exactly.
You
And like a lot of them eat eggs too,
don't.
which I don't eat as many eggs as I used to anymore because I've discovered I have a slight allergy to them. But like I was like, so I can give up the eggs, but nope, not giving up the dairy. Not giving up the dairy. Nope, my ice cream, my cheese.
Yeah.
Not giving it up.
I feel so bad when people are allergic to stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah, my brother is allergic to dairy, and, like, when we were growing up, it was really bad. Now it's not quite so bad, but, you know,
Mhm.
I always felt so bad for him because he had to get, like, this terrible soy ice cream, and back in the '70s, they didn't have a lot of the products that they have now that are, dairy free, so it was really hard.
Yeah. Yep. Totally understand that. Karen, what does fun mean to Karen?
What does fun mean to me? Hanging out with my friends and discussing books and TV and what we're doing in our lives and giggling a lot. That's definitely fun.
Got it. So speaking of books, what's one of your favorite books?
Let's see. I love Good Omens by Neil Gaiman. That's probably like my favorite book. Um, I love the whole Dragon Rider and Harper Hall series from Anne McCaffrey. I grew up reading those. The Hobbit, and the Narnia books.
Mm-hmm.
Those two I grew up reading. Um, yeah, I like a lot of science fiction and fantasy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
that's awesome. I was never into fiction growing up. I would always, I don't know, I still to this day I think I really enjoy like self-help books and things like that. And one time I remember my husband's like, have you tried like, something? He's like, try something different. So I was like, okay. And he got me the Narnia series and I ended up loving it. They were like so
mhm,
fantastic. So I was like,
mhm,
I have been missing out. I don't read any fiction because I think growing up, like I watched a lot of movies and stuff. So I think that kind of like filled that, fiction part of my life. But
mhm.
I think just reading a fiction book is just something super magical, such a neat experience. My
Yeah.
son read all the Harry Potter books, and that was like very enjoyable watching him go through that. My husband and I read some of them. My husband, I think, read all of them, but I read some, not all of them. So it was very enjoyable. Very cool. I'm looking at my other fun questions here. Karen, tell me about someone that inspires you on a day-to-day basis. Who is someone in your life who's inspiring you?
I think one of the most inspiring people in my that I personally know in my life, would have been my grandmother. My grandmother, my paternal grandmother, my dad's mother, um, Marion Wood Spencer. She grew up in Perth Amboy in New Jersey. Became a nurse at a time when it was very hard for women, to work outside the home. And ended up marrying a much older farmer from the country, way, like hundreds of miles from her home, and she trekked all the way to Vermont and took over the house for him and his brother and whipped them into shape. This is not a bachelor pad anymore. And then she started being my grandmother and being the forceful personality that she was. She got bored with running a farm, which is enough work, and decided to start working as the county health nurse.
Wow.
And from there, she leapfrogged into politics, into local politics, and became a state legislator for the in the state legislature of Vermont. And she was that for decades. She was in the state legislature for decades. I remember even as a little child going out campaigning with her.
Wow.
So, going from farm to farm, meeting with people, finding out what it was they were concerned about, listening to their problems. So, I think I learned a lot from her,
Mhm.
you know, about ambition, about overcoming the odds, and about listening to people.
Mhm. Yeah. I feel like those soft skills that we pick up like that, they are just so invaluable, right? Anybody who is willing to spend the time and, take us under their wing and show us all of that, I think is just such a blessing to have. It
Hmm.
just warms my heart hearing about this. This is so cool. I was actually very close with my paternal grandmom growing up too. One of the people I was probably the closest to growing up. And to this day, like she passed on many, many years ago. And to this day, like I think of her and remember the times we spent together every day. Like I feel like not a day goes by that I don't think about her. And
Hmm.
a lot of like who I am, what I am, I think is because of her and the love and just everything she poured into me. I
Hmm.
am so appreciative of that. So thank you for sharing. Okay. Karen, tell us if you were describing what makes you successful to someone you are mentoring, what would you say?
I would say that I tend to be very organized, very methodical. I like having, step-by-step plans. Um, I think that never allowing myself to be limited by anyone or anything, is one of the reasons that I've gotten so far. Um, I think, that my my empathy and compassion too, are a big part of my success,
Hmm.
you know? Being able to work with other people, and understand their point of view,
Hmm.
is really important.
Hmm. So I want to add one more to that. I find you as a very curious person. You're always
Mm.
wanting to find out like why is it so, So
Yes, yes, that is definitely true. Yeah.
okay, on that note, I want to ask a question. If there were three words your best friend would use to describe you, what would they say?
Ah, inquisitive, definitely. Um, funny, and at the same time serious.
Mhm. Serious in like getting it done, right? Because I
Mhm.
totally see you. You're just like, I am curious, I'm learning, I'm having fun, but at the same time, I have a goal in mind. I'm gonna get to this finish line. I'm gonna get this done. So
Yep.
I think that's such a great combination to have. You're balanced all the way around. I love that. Okay, Karen, I have thoroughly, thoroughly enjoyed having you with us today. If people want to connect with you, what's the best place for that? And do you also have a resource for them to take away?
Yeah, the best way to connect with me would probably be by email. So that would be info@accountingforartisans.com. Um, and, you can also go to my website, which is, accountingforartisans.com as well. And I do have, a webinar coming up on Tuesday, which is about it's called "Close Out the Year with Confidence," and it is about how to get everything organized for the end of the year and get ready for tax season, and then be ready to jump forward and succeed in the next year.
Awesome. Karen, that makes me so happy. Can I just show that page? Because you
Mhm.
have built it brilliantly and beautifully on One Tech Coach. So I
Yep.
want to share that. Why not? Okay. So this is the webinar that Karen is graciously sharing with us. So the link for that is at the bottom that you see that going by go.accountingforartisans.com/year end and check this out. Look how beautiful this looks. Who's this webinar for? Just sign up. And you said the next one is on.
On Tuesday, the 19th.
Okay.
And, if Tuesday the 19th it's Tuesday the 19th at, 7 PM Eastern. If that time doesn't work for you, keep that link that you see on the screen in mind because there will be additional, uh, showings. We'll be doing it live a number of times before the end of the year.
Awesome. Very cool. And Karen, did you also want to share your YouTube link?
Yes. It's also Accounting for Artisans on YouTube and on Instagram.
Okay.
So you can find me there. The YouTube channel is a good one to go to if you want the longer videos where I get in more detail about things. The Instagram is a mix of fun with accounting and educational stuff. So we have a lot of fun over there. I do have a TikTok under Accounting for Artisans as well. And you can find me on Facebook under Accounting for Artisans. So
Awesome. I had a blast having you here. I hope you
yes,
enjoyed our
this was
session as well.
fun. This was fun.
Okay. Friends, please reach out to Karen. She is such a beautiful soul, and I am so blessed to have her in my community. I get to work with her, I get to be with her, learn from her, and we collaborate on things together. It was such a pleasure having you here, Karen, and we will have you back one day very soon. I can't wait to see how your webinar does and how many people it helps and serves. Thank you so much for being a blessing.
Thank you for having me. This was great. This was a lot of fun.
All right. See you next time.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.